Imagine this for a moment. You're lying in bed next to someone you love. The room is quiet. Your bodies are close, but something feels off. The desire is there. The affection is there. Yet the spark, the ease, the full-bodied yes just isn't showing up the way it used to. And in that quiet moment, a thought slips in. Is this just stress, or is something actually wrong with me? Now imagine the same scene, months from now, and everything feels different. Not because you took a pill or forced anything, but because the food on your plate quietly, steadily, started speaking to your hormones, your blood flow, your mood, your confidence, and suddenly, intimacy feels effortless again. Can diet actually improve your sexual health? The short answer is yes, but not for the reasons most clickbait headlines want you to believe. I'm the intimacy doctor, real talk, real science, real intimacy. And today we're going deep into something that touches every single one of us, whether you're single, partnered, 20, 5 or 65. The quiet, powerful link between what you eat every day and how alive you feel in your own skin and in someone else's. Let's start with the part no one wants to say out loud. Sexual health isn't just about what happens below the belt. It's about how safe you feel in your body, how connected you feel to your emotions, and how much trust you have that your body will show up when you need it to. When those things are off, even the healthiest relationship can start to feel distant. And the reverse is also true when your body feels nourished, balanced, and energized. Desire stops feeling like something you have to chase and starts feeling like something that naturally rises between two people who already feel good together. So the first big insight is this. Food doesn't just feed your cells, it feeds your emotional availability. There's a reason the same foods that protect your heart also protect your libido. When your blood vessels are flexible and inflammation is low, blood flows where it needs to flow. Yes, including the places that make intimacy feel electric. But maybe more importantly, when your brain gets steady energy instead of sugar crashes, your mood stabilizes. And when your mood is stable, you're less likely to shut down during conflict, less likely to feel numb when your partner reaches for you, and far more likely to stay present when things start to heat up. Have you ever noticed that after a heavy, greasy meal, you just want to lie on the couch and scroll? While after something fresh and colorful, you suddenly feel like dancing around the kitchen with your person? That's not an accident. That's your nervous system responding to the quality of fuel you just gave it. And your nervous system is the gatekeeper of intimacy. When it's calm and nourished, the path from emotional connection to physical desire stays wide open. Now, I want to pause here for a second and ask, have you ever experienced that shift in energy after a meal? Maybe you felt lighter, sexier, more playful without really knowing why. Drop a comment and let me know, because I read every single one. And your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear today. The second insight flows right out of the first, and it's one of the most overlooked pieces of relationship science. Chronic low-grade inflammation is one of the fastest libido killers we know, and most of us are walking around with it because of ultra-processed diets. When your body is quietly inflamed, it has to prioritize survival over pleasure. It down-regulates sex hormones. It dampens dopamine, and it makes touch feel less rewarding. But here's what the research shows that almost no one is talking about in the intimacy space. When couples start eating more whole, anti-inflammatory foods together, think colorful vegetables, wild fish, nuts, olive oil, dark chocolate, berries, something beautiful happens beyond the biology. They start cooking together. They start lingering at the table. They start talking about their day instead of staring at screens. The act of nourishing your body becomes an act of nourishing the relationship. And that daily ritual of shared care rebuilds trust in the smallest, most sustainable way possible. I had a couple in my practice, let's call them Maya and Leo, who hadn't been intimate in almost a year. They weren't fighting, they just felt flat. We looked at blood work and saw a sky, high inflammatory markers from years of takeout and stress. We didn't start with sex. We started with Sunday meal prep dates, music on, wine optional, chopping vegetables side by side. 6 months later, Maya told me the turning point wasn't any technique we tried in the bedroom. It was the night Leo handed her a strawberry while they were washing berries, and she suddenly felt desire rush back so strongly she almost cried. The food had lowered the inflammation, yes, but the ritual had rebuilt emotional safety. That's the part supplements alone can never give you. Think about your own life for a second. When was the last time you and your partner, or even just you and yourself, treated cooking like foreplay? Slow, intentional, sensual, focused on pleasure instead of speed. If that feels far away right now, that's okay. Awareness is the first step, and you're already here. The third insight is where things get really hopeful, because it's about hormones, and no, I'm not talking about oysters and Spanish fly myths. I'm talking about the everyday foods that gently support testosterone in men and balanced estrogen in women, and how small, consistent choices compound into massive differences in confidence, mood, and desire. Healthy fats aren't sexy on a nutrition label, but they are pure magic for sex hormones. Your body needs cholesterol, yes, actual cholesterol, to make testosterone, estrogen, and the precursor to vitamin D, which is basically nature's libido vitamin. Eggs, avocados, extra virgin olive oil, fatty fish, nuts, these aren't health foods. They're intimacy foods. And when you start eating enough of them, something subtle but profound happens. You start to feel more like yourself again. Men often report morning energy returning. Women often notice their cycles regulating and their skin glowing in a way that makes them feel quietly magnetic. But here's the emotional intelligence piece most experts miss. When you feel better in your body, you stop hiding from your partner. You stop turning off the lights. You stop making excuses. Self-consciousness is one of the biggest barriers to intimacy, and good nutrition is one of the kindest ways to rebuild self-trust. There's also emerging research on the gut sexual health axis that blows my mind every time I read a new study. Your gut microbiome influences how much estrogen gets recycled in your body, how well you make dopamine and serotonin, and even how sensitive your nerves are to touch. Fermented foods, fiber, polyphenols from tea and dark chocolate. These aren't just trendy. They're literally changing the chemical conversation between your gut and your brain, and your brain is the largest sexual organ you have. I want you to try something this week, just as an experiment. Add 1 extra serving of something fermented every day: sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, even a spoonful of miso in warm water before bed. Notice your mood, your digestion, your dreams. Notice if touch starts to feel different. Then come back and tell me in the comments. Science is beautiful, but lived experience is what changes us. The fourth insight is the one that brings everything together, and it's the most human of all. The way you eat is a mirror of how you love. If your relationship with food is rushed, guilty, secretive, or disconnected, that pattern usually shows up in the bedroom too. If you're always depriving yourself or binging in private, it's hard to feel safe receiving pleasure openly with another person. Healing your relationship with food often becomes the quiet back door to healing your relationship with intimacy. I've seen people let go of decades of shame around their bodies not through therapy alone, but through the gentle daily practice of feeding themselves like someone they love. And when that self-love becomes embodied, it changes everything about how they show up for their partner. Desire stops being something you perform and starts being something you overflow. So here's the practical path I give every client who asks me, "Doc, what should I actually eat?" It's not a diet, it's a love letter to your future intimacy. Crowd your plate with color. The compounds that make vegetables bright are the same ones that protect blood vessels and balance hormones. Aim for 30 different plants a week. Sounds impossible until you realize herbs, spices, tea, and dark chocolate all count. Don't fear fat, especially from whole foods. Your hormones will thank you, and so will your skin, your brain, and your libido. Protein at every meal keeps blood sugar steady, which keeps cortisol low, which keeps you emotionally available instead of snappy or withdrawn. Minimize the ultra-processed stuff, not because it's bad, but because it crowds out the foods that make you feel most alive. And maybe most importantly, eat with people you love whenever you can. The Mediterranean diet isn't magic because of the olive oil. It's magic because people linger at the table for hours, talking, laughing, touching, passing bread. The food and the connection co-create the health. If all of this is resonating with you right now, do me a favor, tap the like button. It tells YouTube to show this video to more people who are quietly Googling, "Why don't I want sex anymore?" at 2 a.m. Feeling broken and alone? You pressing like might be the thing that helps them feel seen. So can diet actually improve your sexual health? Yes, profoundly, but not because kale is an aphrodisiac. Because the way you nourish your body is the way you nourish your capacity to love and be loved. And when you feel safe, energized, and fully inhabiting your own skin, intimacy stops being something you have to fix and starts being something you get to celebrate. Thank you for letting me into this tender part of your life today. If you want more conversations like this, real talk about desire, emotional connection, trust, and the science of staying close, hit subscribe and tap the bell so you never miss a video. And when you're ready for the next piece of this journey, I just uploaded a video called "The 5 Silent Killers of Bedroom Confidence" and how to heal them without therapy. It's waiting for you right now, and I think you're going to feel so seen. Until then, eat like someone you're excited to make love to, because you deserve to feel that good. I'll see you in the next one.